For more than 10 years, farmers in Middlesex Stand Creek have faced an uphill battle just to get their produce out of the village. Community chairperson Britney says the problem comes down to poor road access. Most of the surrounding land is owned by siltgrass farms, leaving growers with few options to move their crops. 3 years ago, residents met with the lands department to open a road for farmers to travel, which was surveyed, approved, and authenticated, costing residents $5,000. Community members then began to work to make the newly opened May Johnson Road extension accessible. But just when things were looking up, the residents received a stop order from the Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing.
After that, we spoke to the CEO of Ministry of Works, tried to explain our situation because they were accusing us of logging, illegal logging. They were accusing us of entering private property, and none of that was correct information. So we kept battling with MIDH over and over again. And then when we finally saw the light, and when we thought we were able to proceed, and we had the machine back there doing work for probably 1 day or so, we were met with another stop order.
Roches claims that following the written stop order, the residents halted work on the road and contacted the Lands Department and MIDH for guidance. She explains that after laying out the situation once more, they were finally given the go-ahead, provided that they stuck to all required protocols. But not long after, workers were told that the Department of the Environment would be carrying out an inspection behind the Siltgrass Farms property.
They said that we could continue with the road because it was a pre-existing road from the time that they arrived there, so we weren't just opening it. And then after that, they called and said that we cannot continue because the chief said no, chief environmental officer said no. And it was under discussion, and then they sent an email saying that they need to cross-check with Lands Department to ensure that we are not encroaching into private property. But our question is, what does environmental have to do with private property?
Work on the road came to a standstill while the Department of the Environment carried out its assessment. While that analysis is underway, Siltgrass Farms brought on environmental consultant Percival Cho to conduct a feasibility study. His findings show that the slope of the proposed road was between 32 and 35 degrees, which can be difficult to travel on when the road is wet.
It's very dangerous. So there's a engineering reason why you don't open roads on terrain that steep. From an environmental perspective, it creates a situation where these fragile soils, we call them very fragile or erodible soils, are exposed to rain and weathering. And what happens when it's exposed is you get this wash down effect, and it just eats into the road. And some of the photos I showed you showed deep cracks, deep chasms opened on the road itself where the water starts to dig it out. And you could get mudslides because it's very deep erodible soils. There's not a lot of bedrock underneath it. It's very deep, and you could get mudslides that could potentially also take down bits of forest.
According to Roches, residents were informed that the government could instead pursue acquiring one of the roads on Siltgrass Farms property. However, Roches says that over $36,000 has already been invested in the May Johnson Road extension.
It would be better if we fix the road we're currently working on, so we wouldn't have any problem with the company in the future. Yes, it is a flatter road. Yes, it is less hectic, but why invest in that and get the rich person richer when other people could use the other access? Because there are other farms that have titles and they cannot access the area, and they want to do development as well.
Construction stopped about halfway up the slope, a move Chuck considers fortunate. He points out that continuing the work could impact water reserves that nearby communities rely on.
But what I saw when we went was already erosion occurring on the side of the road where the hill continues up. So you get a drain forming. And that was creating siltation, so wash down, coming down into the farms below, right? And so when you construct a road like that, the during the rainy season, I mean, this was September, we're in the height of the rainy season, it's a really terrible idea, right?
Villagers say they're open to the government acquiring land from siltgrass farms, but according to Roches, that's only part of the solution. She insists multiple roads must be opened so farmers on both sides of the village can move their produce. For now, growers are urging the government to step in with a plan that works for everyone. Britney Gordon for News 5.